Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This is your TNA news and wrestling spoilers and previous. Uh, 14, TNA announced that broadcaster Josh Matthews will join Taz to form the new Impact Wrestling announce team, as Matthews is doing play by play, and Taz will be on Wednesday, January 7th at 9 Central, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. As Josh Matthews is a dynamic talent who brings great energy of TV. Had the pleasure to work with Josh for many years, as he said, alongside Taz, and will captivate fans and enhance the viewing experience. Raised in Indiana, Matthews as a leading voice in sports entertainment and pro wrestling. I was amped up when I heard the news Matthews would be joining the announced Impact alongside the best roster in professional wrestling. I am looking forward to sitting next to my friend and new announced partner on January 7th in New York City. I'm elated is this incredible opportunity. As Mike today is a legend in this business, and I am humbled to build on the body of work that he has established over the past 12 years on Impact. Special broadcast. It was live on January 7th. Well, at the time, it was from 9 o'clock to 11. Destination America and Impact Wrestling Unlocked with Mike today premieres in its permanent time slot on Saturdays from 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Brodus Clay on what he misses about WWE in 2015 plans and goals as he looks back on being released by WWE as he's and his WWE release. I think you have to go from one start off. Getting fired obviously was a blemish, a negative thing, but only being employed on your own terms, and because I enjoy it, not necessarily for a paycheck, but get to earn a paycheck with having the new network. With Impact as came today. Being on the forefront of something new and exciting is always a great opportunity. It's a chance to shine and do your own thing. His goal because with powerlifting and dieting, you want to lose. You don't want to lose any muscle. But I have some things I'm working on. I have another movie this year and maybe some TV stuff. Those things, you can say, I did that. But if you didn't get it, you can look and say what you needed to do to get there. And anyway, big shows, long stories, Mark Henry's life anecdotes, T.J. Wilson as Tyson Kidd makes me die laughing. Some cool handshakes and stuff like that. 10 sides. Enjoyed it, and I'm able to dictate my own schedule right now. And you know, WB is a 365 days a year, and when you're in it, you don't think about it, and when you're not in it, you think about it. Of uh, of impact, thanks to the results posted by Kyle Petrano, who attended the Impact tapings from New York City. On the previous night, and the crowd was confused. Rude cut a promo about his promise to hurt Eric Young and offer no explanation on how he got the which was Aries versus Rude versus MVP versus Lashley. First match, Taryn Terrell over Gail Kim and Mazarine to retain the TNA Knockout title. Jeff Hardy defeated promo. And your main event was Lashley beat MVP, Austin Aries, and Bobby Roode in a four-way to retain the TNA title. There was a post-match attack by and Kurt Angle and Gunner made the save. Then they set up matches for lockdown in a promo. That was basically that. Former WWE star Drew McIntyre also made his TNA debut at the tapings from this past weekend. Tapings in Glasgow, Scotland after the main event of Al Snow versus Grado from British Boot Camp, the BDC, Beatdown Crew, KKK, what I would say, but can't call it that because they're not all black against black members. You got the BDC coming out and attack Grado, who was, like I said, from the British Boot Camp. And this led to Drew Galloway coming out to a huge pop and making save for Grado. Also, Mickie James made a return to TNA as well. And that apparently is scheduled for the February 20th Impact episode. Okay, thanks to Trent McSwaggerlot for the following TNA Impact Wrestling spoilers from New York City. And it was airing on Destination America, or have already aired. Apparently they started late again. MVP and the crew kicked off the show. They got some eye candy with them. This group is called the BDC for the Beatdown Clan. Eric Young comes out and gets booed. He says what the fans think doesn't matter to him. Well, he's stealing the Rock's thing. It doesn't matter what you think. EY talks out about hating Bobby Roode now. MVP then calls out the World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley, but Kurt Angle comes out instead. Angle goes face to face with Samoa Joe and punches him, and a fight breaks out. Well, and they start a match. Samoa Joe defeating Kurt Angle by submission when the referee went down, and Joe hit Angle with a low blow. BDC beat down Angle after the match until Bobby Roode made a save. And then Rude sits down in the middle of the ring for a promo. He's pissed off and he says this crap in TNA has gone too far. Rude says he's going to make EY pay for his sins tonight. Well, the Hardy Boys and the Wolves 2 was up next. Revolution watches the match from the balcony, formerly like ECW did. Jeff Hardy had a great spot at one point where he went to the top, walked from one turnbuckle to the other, and then dove out onto the Wolves. The Hardys got the win when the two teams two teams shook hands. This was said to be as good as you did expect. Eric Young and Bobby Roode began fighting in the aisle as they started brawling around the ring. They brawled through the crowd where you got a chant, "We can't see you." They're stealing John Cena's land. "You can't see me? Well, we can't see you," chant. And Young with a pile driver on a chair. MVP came out next, and Kenny King came out with him. MVP said tonight is a night for celebrating, and Lashley will be competing. This could have been for the live crowd. Jeremy Borash then comes out and announces a feast or famine match for another episode. Velvet Sky and Angelina Love defeated Brooke Tessmacher and Taryn Terrell. Yeah, this is Brooke Tessmacher's return from after the amazing race that they were in. Bromance were at ringside with the beautiful people. Awesome Kong appeared after the lights go out. She chokeslammed Zima. And Havoc's music hit, and out she comes, and they have a face-off in the middle of the ring, but security broke it up before anything happened. Low Key versus Austin Aries for the X Division title was up next, as Low Key gets the win to become the new champion, just one night after losing it. Key got the win after Kenny King attacked Austin Aries on the top rope. MVP calls out Bobby Lashley, and he shows this time. MVP says he got Lashley everything he has. MVP says the Beatdown Clan all owns the World Heavyweight title. Lashley says the title is his. Lashley wants nothing to do with this, and MVP is offended. They hug, but Low Key attacks, and Lashley gets beat down by the group. As Low Key hits a double stomp to the back, and MVP hits him with the belt. As they leave, MVP says the title doesn't belong to Lashley. It belongs to the Beatdown Clan. And the correspondent says wasn't sure if this was the final segment for the January 16th episode or the opening segment for the January 23rd episode. As the next taping began at 9:15 p.m. Thanks to Trip McSwaggerlot for the following spoilers, or what now is from the episode. 2 weeks on again on Destination America. I believe they may have skipped a week or something. MVP called out Lashley as he showed out this time, so it was the same thing. I'll go on to the next one. Havoc versus Gail Kim started when they brawled on the ramp. The match ends in a disqualification when Havoc shoves the referee. Havoc dragged Kim back to the ring for some more punishment. Then the lights go out and Awesome Kong comes for the save. Havoc attacks Kong, but no sells it. Kong clotheslines Havoc over the top rope, and her music hits, and that was it. Koya, the former Mahabali sheriff from India, defeated Tiger Uno in a squash match. James Storm on the Revolution cut a promo on the Hardys. Apparently, it will be Storm versus Matt Hardy tonight. Feast or Fire match was up next. British Boot Camp winner Mark Andrews came out and took a seat in the crowd before the match began. The briefcases are on poles, and wrestlers in the match are Rockstar Spud, Robbie E., Jesse Goddard, DJ Zima, Crazy Steve, Sam Shaw, Gunner, Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards, Bram, Magnus, and Austin Aries. Spud climbs the top of Shaw to grab the first case. After they went for it, he's dazed for a few seconds, and Spud just climbs on his shoulders and got the first case. And they don't know what's supposedly in the cases. Aries acted like he was going to do or die, but ran to the top rope and grabbed the second case instead, because there was like 4 or 5 wrestlers outside. Well, he did the smart thing and got the case. So that leaves 2 cases left. Aries then dives out and retreats to the back. Apparently, the beautiful people got one of the other cases, possibly for the bromance. at the start of the match, but nobody noticed. Magnus got the last case. So, wasn't revealed yet. Ethan Carter III come out with Tyrus. He calls out JB to the ring for a match. JB is wearing jeans and a hoodie and has Spud with him. EC3 talks trash, and when JB takes the mic, he attacks EC3 as JB had the upper hand until EC3 got pissed. He spit on Spud. Spud attacked but Tyrus took him out. UK star Mark Andrews, that was in the crowd from the British boot camp, came over and from the barrier from his seat in the crowd. He's not much bigger than Rockstar Spud. He hits the ring and helped out Spud take out Tyrus and EC3. Alright, then we got Matt Hardy versus James Storm was up next. Hardy got the win with a small package after the match. Storm offers to shake hands, but Abyss attacked Hardy from behind. Storm ties Hardy up, and Abyss grabs Janice, but Jeff Hardy makes a save. He challenges Abyss to a Monsters Ball for next week and gets the crowd to chant Monsters Ball. Low Key and Eric Young defeated Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode in the next match, as MVP and Kenny King distracted the referee, allowing Young to hit Roode with a steel chair as Low Key got the pin on Roode. Bobby Lashley versus a mystery opponent was up next. Lashley came down without the belt and was upset. He grabs the mic and tells them to bring his title out now. Well, Kenny King comes out and tells Lashley to go crying to the NYPD if they don't choke or shoot him first. This leads to King versus Lashley with the BDC surrounding the ring. As his lumberjacks, the whole group enters the ring and attacks Lashley, causing the end of the match as Bobby Roode and Kurt Angle make the save. Angle challenges the Beatdown Clan to a 6 sides of steel match at the following night's tapings. And that ends that show. And the following night at 6:50 p.m. on January 30th for the January 30th episode. Thanks to Mick Swag a lot again for the following Impact spoilers who was in New York City and should air on January 30th. Well, what it did. Apparently, Lockdown will be taped after this episode for the first week of February episode. Bobby Roode kicked off the show. He has a World Heavyweight title belt and admits that it doesn't belong to him. He talks about how important the title is, how it was stolen from him, and then he wants revenge against Eric Young. Roode calls out Bobby Lashley and wants to settle it like men. Roode doesn't blame Lashley for any of this. Roode offers to give the belt back, but he wants a rematch. Lashley agrees and calls for a referee. Instead, Austin Aries comes out with a briefcase. Aries debates on cashing in his case, but out comes MVP. MVP wants a title shot. Lashley agrees to put the title on the line against anyone tonight. Wasn't announced yet, so we got Gail Kim versus Madison Rayne versus Taryn Terrell for the Knockouts title in a 3-way dance. As Taryn retained, it was noted that Taryn has received weak pops every night this week, but for a better reaction after her win on this taping. Jeremy Borash came to the ring and says we have a special visitor, Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer came to the ring and calls out Eric Young. Young said this is none of Dreamer's business. Young says Dreamer is full of BS and goes into their history on the road together. As Dreamer's entrance, he also grabbed a beer from the crowd, from one of the guys in the crowd, took a sip, handed it back to him. Dreamer then told EY not to burn bridges. EY calls him a fat loser from New York. And he's like, mocking us, like, damn it, like, fat loser? Okay. Now, those are fighting words, and Dreamer takes off his jacket for a fight. EY snaps and hits Dreamer with a pile driver. He attacks a fan at ringside, takes a chair. EY goes to hit Dreamer with a chair, but Roode makes a save as EY ends up hitting the kid at ringside again and then runs away. I didn't see it when I watched that particular episode myself. Jeff Hardy versus Abyss and the Monsters Ball was next. They started off fighting in the crowd. Hardy used the chair and they brawled around the ring. Hardy tried jumping over the top rope off a steel chair, but crashed into a table instead of Abyss. Hardy went for a swanton. This is Jeff Hardy, by the way. But the Revolution comes out. They attack Hardy. Matt Hardy makes a save, but gets beat down. The Wolves run out next to clean house. Hardy finally sunset flips Abyss from the top rope onto thumbtacks. Hardy then hits a swan top for the win. James Storm was upset afterwards and slapped Abyss around some. Abyss did nothing in return and they walked back to the back. Mark Andrews and Rockstar Spud versus Tyrus and EC3. Doesn't happen but as EC3 bings out the Bromance and his replacements. Andrews gets a win for his team with a shooting star press as Tyrus and EC3 attack after the match. Ethan then announced Spud versus Tyrus for lockdown. Bobby Roode versus A Double versus MVP versus Bobby Lashley for the world title was up next. So, you got the 3-4-way dance. It starts with MVP getting beat up by all three before turning into every man for himself. EY comes out and attacks Roode. While the referee isn't looking, EY leaves as Roode is left lying. Aries goes for a dive, but Lashley spears him to retain the title. After the match, the BDC came down, attacks Roode, Aries, and Lashley. Gunner and Kurt Angle make the save. Team Angle versus the BDC was announced for lockdown. Mentioned nothing about on the taping that Kurt Angle was looking for some, talking to the guys and asking them to form a team. Lashley turns down the team invite and says he will never team with Angle as Lashley leaves in the episode. And now for the lockdown episode 4, which is the spoilers for February. Thanks again to Mick Swaggerlot for the lockdown spoilers from New York City on Friday, February the 6th on Destination America. Spoilers. Jeremy Borash has announced Eric Young versus Bobby Roode for tonight. Awesome Kong will also be in action. Rockstar Spud and Mark Andrews versus Tyrus was up first. Ethan Carter III is at ringside. EC3 suckers Andrews out of the ring, or out of the cage at one point, and Andrews actually slipped getting out. It looked painful. EC3 hit Spud with the cage door, allowing Tyrus to hit the finisher for the win. EC3 goes to shave Spud's head, but Jeremy Borash makes a save by cutting the cord. EC3 then charges JB, but JB runs away. Havoc versus Awesome Kong was up next. They start brawling on the ramp and then around the ring. They go back into the cage and Earl Hebner accidentally gets knocked down by the door as Kong closes it. Kong no-sells a choke slam and hits Havoc with one of her own. Kong wins after a splash from the top. Top rope, top of the cage. Don't know. Have to watch to find out. The Hardy versus James Storm and Abyss for the tag team titles was up next. Only way to win is pinfall or submission. Manic comes down and climbs over the cage. Matt Hardy pulls him over and Manic gets handcuffed to the cage. Storm climbed on top of Abyss at one point and jumped off with an elbow drop on Matt as Hardy got out of the cage somehow. Later on, it was attacked by the Revolution. Jeff Hardy went for a splash off the top, but got hit by Myth from Sonata. Storm hit his finisher to retain as Koya slams Matt through a table. They put Jeff on a table in the ring for Manic to put him through, but Manic misses. Jeff tries to escape the cage, but ends up taking a nasty bump off the door onto the steel stairs. Storm assaults Jeff some more before they leave. Then Storm runs back out and hits Jeff on the ramp as the referees are helping him to the back. MVP, Kenny King, and Eric Young were out next. MVP said it's going to be a bad time for anyone getting in the way of the BDC. MVP calls out Kurt Angle, and he brings Austin Aries and Gunner with him. MVP rips their team and says they don't want the match. MVP tells Angle to walk away or never wrestle again. Angle says that they came to New York City to kick ass and then they rush the ring. There is no match as Gunner gets trapped outside of the cage and attacked by Samoa Joe and Low Ki. They put his arm in the cage door and slam it with a chair. Security comes out as the BDC retreats. Robbie E calls out Brooke Tessmacher to the ring and blames her for losing the Amazing Race. He challenges her to a race and he accepts. The race involves them spinning around with a baseball bat. very similar to what they do for the 7th inning stretch at a minor league baseball game. And then running to the cage, climbing into it, over it, and back up the ramp. The judges are Jesse Goddard and DJ Zima, who get involved to try to stop Brooke from leaving the cage, but Robbie ends up pushing Brooke off the ramp. He poses before crossing the finish line. Brooke comes back and hits him with a low blow. She then crushes him with a bat. Brooke crosses over the line and wins. She goes back and takes a selfie with Robbie. This was described as pure stupidity. Eric Young and Bobby Roode was up next. Eric Young versus Bobby Roode was up next as EY ended up calling MVP to the cage. He steel chair in. EY missed the chair shot, and Roode sent him into the cage, causing EY to bleed. Roode unloads on EY and then hits him with a chair shot. Roode wins clean with his finisher. Team Angle versus BDC and a lethal lockdown was up next. Team Angle is short a man as Lashley didn't want to team. The match starts with Gunner versus Kenny King. Low-Key comes in next and they double team Gunner with weapons. Austin Aries comes in and next and unloads on the heels. Samoa Joe was up next. Came in next. He took out Aries and Gunner with a trash can lid. Joe grabbed a hockey stick and then used it on Aries. Kurt Angle was up next. Joe met him with a hockey stick, but Angle got the upper hand. Low-Key hits the double stop on Aries. MVP then was out next. He beats on Aries and Gunner with a kendo stick. Angle hits a German on MVP. Joe hits Angle with a trash can lid. Lashley ends up coming out it anyway to make things even. MVP tries to attack him, but Lashley wants to shake hands. MVP falls for it, and Lashley cleans house. Angle had Joe in the ankle lock, while Gunner had King in the rack, but Aries won with the pin. Lashley unloads again and sends the BDC retreating as Aries grabs his briefcase and heads back into the ring to face off with Lashley. Angle gets in between and says, "Not now." And that ends the show. And spoilers for February 13th. Thanks to Graham J. for the following impact from spoilers from Glasgow, Scotland. This was taped over this past weekend. The impact spoilers will apparently be for February 13th on Destination America. Don't forget, 8 p.m. Central Time. Katie Ray and Noam Dar defeated Gail Kim and Rampage Brown in a mixed tag match for Explosion. Apparently, these are some developmental stars from England or from their, except for Gail Kim. As Noam pinned Brown and Kim barely saw any action. Kurt Angle opened up the show in the ring. Austin Aries and Gunner joined in by Angle to eliminate the BDC. Bobby Lashley came out and shook hands with Angle. Angle said it's time for him to get a title shot now. BDC come out wearing matching attire but gets chased off after some promos. Bobby Roode defeated Austin Aries by submission. Roode grabbed the mic after the match, but Eric Young laid him out and left him laying with a pile driver. Time for some boot camp Angle as Al Snow comes out to major heat and a massive grotto chance. Apparently, they've changed the gut check to boot camp. And the gut challenge is now called boot camp overseas. England, wherever they go now. Grado has the biggest pop of the night so far. Al called out Grado and challenged him to a match at the next taping. Well, next up was Bram squashing Crazy Steve and called out Magnus, but he never showed up. Tyrus and EC3 defeated Mark Andrews, Jeremy Borash, and Rockstar Spud in a handicap match. Borash actually did a dive outside the ring. EC3 pinned Spud to win and tried to shave his head, but the lights went off as Mr. Anderson returned to a big pop. He took out Tyrus and EC3. Next match was Madison Rayne coming out and talked about being knockout champion in the past, and that led to Awesome Kong winning a squash match. Matt Hardy came out and said that the Revolution has injured Jeff Hardy. James Storm and crew of the Revolution said that he did something even The Undertaker couldn't do, but put Jeff Hardy out of action. Hardy and Storm brawl, and Hardy gets beat down by the Revolution. The Wolves ended up making making the save to a big pop. MVP of Samoa Joe defeated Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley in a good match. Angle accidentally hit Lashley, leading to MVP pinning Lashley. Angle and Lashley had a stare down to end the show. And now for February 20th episode for Impact. And this one started at 6 p.m. The other one didn't give a time that it started. Yeah, it did 2:30. It was like 2:27 p.m. So that was a long, like three or 4 hours for that one, because this one started at 6 p.m. Thanks to Graham J. again for the following spoilers. Eric Young defeated Tommy Dreamer in a bloody hardcore match. EC3 came out with Tyrus, but was interrupted by Mr. Anderson. Rockstar Spud attacked Ethan from behind and also took out Tyrus. Anderson went to shave Ethan's hair, but Tyrus made a save. Anderson and Spud held Tyrus down and shaved his head. Wait a minute. Tyrus, I forgot, he has a mohawk. Also, Kong then defeated Angelina Love. Gail Kim came out to stare at Kong after the match. Kurt Angle came out and hyped a battle royal for later. Mickie James made her return and did a promo. MVP became the new #1 contender to the World Heavyweight title by winning a 20-man battle royal. Final four were Angle and members of the BDC. As MVP eliminated Angle to win. Al Snow versus Grado was up for the main event. Grado got a massive pop again. Grado got the win. And the two shook hands after the match. The BDC came out after the match and attacked Grado. As Drew McIntyre made his TNA debut to a huge pop and made a save for Grado to end the show. Well, at least in the taping, those matches could be done at any way or any time of faction. I'm predicting the Battle Royal will end Impact taping for that spoiler. That's just my opinion. Well, that took a whole 42 minutes as the next taping starts at 6:42 p.m. Thanks to Mary for the following wrestling spoilers. It was January 30th on the taping, by the way. This was an air for February 27th episode. Mark Andrews defeated Dave Mastiff in an explosion match. The Wolves of Matt Hardy defeated the Revolution in 6-man action. Kurt Angle called out Bobby Lashley. Angle was upset for Lashley not helping him out last week. BDC comes out after Angle leave, and MVP cut a promo on winning the title tonight. Rockstar Spud defeated Tyrus with the help from Mr. Anderson. Terrell called out Awesome Kong. Gail Kim came out instead and tried to talk Taryn out fighting Kong. Kong came out and dropped Taryn. Kong posed over her with the title, as this apparently was not a title match. And then we get Noam Dar and Rampage Brown wrestle until Bram runs out and takes them both out. Bram calls out Magnus, but Grado came out instead. Bram laid him out. Bobby Lashley retained the world title over MVP. The match had interference from lots of people, and at the end of the show, even Drew McIntyre, who's going by the name of Drew Galloway, ended up taking out MVP, allowing Lashley to retain the title. Taping for March the 6th. This was started at 7 minutes after 7. Well, the whole show only lasted 20 minutes. They got to fill a lot. They got to do a lot of fillers for that show, that episode. And thanks to Mary for the following Impact spoilers from Manchester, England. This will air on March the 6th. Terrell defeated Awesome Kong by disqualification when Kong shoved the referee. Kong tried to attack Taryn, but Gail Kim made a save, and Gail and Kong brawled back to backstage. Bram defeated Matt Hardy with a low blow. Bram went after Hardy after the match, but Magnus made a save and cut a promo on Bram. And for those that don't know, Magnus is the father of Mickie James' baby, by the way. And they are not married, if you don't remember. Okay, Bobby Roode come out for a promo on Eric Young. Kurt Angle interrupted. Young attacked Rude from behind, but Angle held him back. This leads to Angle and Rude fighting Young after he attacked Angle. The Wolves defeated James Storm and Abyss to become the new TNA Tag Team Champions. Matt Hardy helped out when Revolution interfered. BDC came out and ripped on Drew Galloway. Drew come through the crowd and said he came to TNA to stand up for the fans. They threatened Drew, which led to a match. The match was Drew Galloway defeating Kenny King as the BDC tried to attack Drew after the match, but he ran into the crowd. Rockstar Spud came out for a birthday chant. He calls out EC3, and a hair versus hair match was announced for the London tapings. Kurt Angle then defeated Eric Young and Bobby Roode in a triple threat to become the new number one contender. Lashley came out and had a stare down with Angle to end that show taping. And for March the 13th, spoilers. And it started at 6:16 p.m. on January 31st. Thanks to Mary again. It's M-A-R-I, not M-A-R-R-Y. Again, this will air March 13th. The Wolves defeated Bromance and the Revolution in the Ultimate X to retain the tag team titles. Bobby Roode defeated Eric Young in the last man standing match with a powerbomb through a table on the floor. Drew Galloway defeated MVP by disqualification when the BDC interfered. Huge heat for MVP here. Brooke Tessmacher then defeated Robbie E. Woman versus man match. Magnus defeated Bram by disqualification. Bram ended up kidnapping Mickie James hostage and forcing Magnus to lick his boot. EC3 defeated Rockstar Spud in a hair versus hair match. Spud got his hair shaved after the match. Taryn Terrell defeated Awesome Kong and Gail Kim in a triple threat to retain the Knockouts title. And that was the tapings for that one. So where would you put the main event in that one? I'll leave that one up for y'all. I mean, what would be best out of all that? Magnus defeating Bram by disqualification? Having Mickie James being kidnapped? That would be a lead up to the final match. Only knockouts for your main event? Wouldn't be my decision. Okay, 6:31. Even quicker event on quicker tapings. Has the whole show on that one. Lasted about 15 minutes. At 6:31 p.m. on January 31st, the taping started. Again, thanks to Mary. I'll call her Mari. Unless I drop the O off of it. Mario. And this is from London, England. And will air on March the 20th. Mark Andrews, Crazy Steve, Noam Dar, and Kaylee Ray defeated Sam Shaw, Rampage Brown, Dave Mastiff, and Madison Rain in a match for Explosion. Magnus and Bram came out brawling from backstage. Magnus then beat Bram down with a chair as Mickie James helped Magnus beat Bram up. And they powerbomb him on the stage. A-Double comes out and wants his briefcase back. He challenges Samoa Joe and Low Key to come out with it. They taunt him and Aries challenges Key to a match with the briefcase and the X Division title on the line. Instead, Aries has to go through Joe first. Aries defeated Samoa Joe by disqualification when Low Key attacked him. Key accidentally hit Joe with a briefcase as Aries grabbed it and ran off and Nelly Key. After Nelly Key. Rockstar Spud ran down immediately, catches in his briefcase, and defeats Key to become the new X Division title holder, X Division champion. James Storm then defeated Matt Hardy in a good hardcore match. As Storm had help from all of his Revolution members and won with a super kick. After the match, they go to beat down Hardy, but Grado made the save and got a huge pop. The Wolves also ran down for the save. Grado, the Wolves, and Hardy danced after the match. Kurt Angle defeated Bobby Lashley to become the new TNA World Champion in the best match of all the tapings, apparently from the reporter. And the match had a lot of near finishes, counters, and reversals. Just a very good wrestling match. But what else can be great from Kurt Angle? There's a lot of reversals because that's what he does. best. And Angle ended up winning with his finisher, the ankle lock. And that concludes the spoilers for up until the 20th of March. Thanks again. Peace out. God bless. See you. What will be you. By the way, if you don't know, you better call me, bro.